Hi everyone, Gemma here. Thank you for watching. Today is the CraftStash YouTube hop. There is a wonderful lineup of videos, so please subscribe to all the channels in the hop. There are 9 videos in total and you can check out the list below or over on the CraftStash website. For today's hop you can enjoy 20% off the products used. There is an exclusion with a paper pad. So I've made this gorgeous 5x7 flip and see card. I'm really pleased with how it's turned out. I just love the green and the purple and the black together. It's got lots of interest on the front there with the different pattern papers, the bats, the pumpkins, and I've spelt out trick or treat, and you open it up, boo, and you've got this spooky scene inside with a witch flying in the night sky there, and you've got the grass, the gravestones, pumpkin, and some trees in the background. And it opens and closes really well, as you can see, and then you can write your message inside the card. So before we get started, I wanted to quickly mention the products that I'm using today. So they're all from Made to Surprise. I'm going to mix and match the Turn and Reveal collection with the Flip and See, and I'm using the Spooktacular paper pad. So apart from the paper pad, everything else has 20% discount. So everything that you see me using in today's video is at a discounted price. So get that while you can. So as I said, the 8x8 paper pack, which is from the Spooktacular collection. Then we've got the Chunky Alphabet die, the Easy Edges die, the Spooky Fun Stamp and die set, the Halloween Icons die set, the Haunting Times stamp and die set, and lastly the 5x7 flip and see mechanism die. Everything will be listed in the description box below, and I'll also pop a link here that will direct you straight to CraftStash where you can find those products that I'm using today. So I'm just going to keep the mechanism die here as a reference for the cutting guide, but let me talk you through the pieces that I've already prepared. So I've cut a piece of 10x7 along the 10-inch side. I'm going to score at 5, so that gives me my 5x7 card base. I've then cut a piece of white cardstock that measures 4 7/8 by 6 7/8. So that will sit on top there. I've then cut a piece of 4.5 by 6.5 in black cardstock, and that will sit on top of the white. I've used this die here from the mechanism set, and I've die cut that once in white cardstock and once in the pattern paper, and I've attached those together. The pattern paper isn't heavy enough or thick enough to hold the mechanism, so you do need to double up on your cardstock there. So that will sit over the top like so. If I just flip this over, I've cut this piece then in the green cardstock, and this forms the mechanism. I've also reinforced the score lines, and that, as I said, this will be our mechanism piece that will pull in and out. Then using these rectangle dies here, I've cut a piece of green in the largest layer, and then the next layer down in black, and the final layer in this pattern paper. So if I just take that away, this is sort of what you'll see on the front of the card, like so. I do need to do some additional cutting for the decoration on the inside, but I'll talk you through that as I do it. You've also got this die here, which you can use to butt up to your cardstock and create a tab in it. So it's entirely up to you. I don't necessarily do that, but each to their own. You're welcome to go ahead and do that also. So I folded and burnished my card base. I'm just going to start by attaching the layers. So I'm using Clal glue for this. So just attaching that like so. So I mentioned at the start of the video the discounted products. You've got 20% off. But also if you're a VIP or you haven't heard about VIP, then you can sign up for $9.99 a year and you can get an additional 10% off, double reward points, early access to new launches and exclusive content. And I've actually created a video for the VIP hub myself. That's using a craft magazine. So if you haven't seen that, you can go and check that out. So let's work on the mechanism piece first. I'm just going to fold and burnish along the score lines. So you've got sort of this shape. So you fold it down so that you've got the score line showing on the front and then there aren't any score lines on the back. I hope that makes sense. We're going to slot this through the hole in this pattern paper. And you want to line this up so that you can see this tab here, the back tab. So if you use your card base as a reference, you want to line, so center your panel and line the edge of the green piece up against the edge of your card base. Once you've done that, you need to add some glue on the top layer. So if I just hold that up, so you've got these two pieces, you're adding glue to this one only. I'm just going to line that back up because it's shifted. Check that you're happy with your positioning and this is nice and straight. I'm just going to pop just a bead of glue along the edge there and press that down. Just give that a moment to grab. So can you see that movement there? This is what will flip the card open. Once that's attached, you just want to flip it over and add some foam adhesive. So I've got these Creative Craft Products foam adhesive sheets. I'm just going to trim some down and you want to add foam to the white areas only, so don't put anything on the green. So I've removed the backing and now I'm going to attach this to my card base. I'm just concentrating on centering that in the black panel there. So that should move in and out freely like so. Next I'm going to attach these three pieces together and then I need to do some more cutting before attaching it to my card base. So I'm just going to let those dry and set them to one side. So I'll bring in a panel that I've already gone ahead and ink blended, and the colours that I've used for this is mulled lavender, then going into Dusty Concord, Fillness Potion and a little bit of black soot to finish off. So the size of this panel is approximately 8 3/4 by just over 6 1/4. I'm going to use this panel to cut the pieces that I want to go inside of the card. So this will sit on the front, and when it flips open I want the night sky there, so I sort of want it displayed like so. I hope that makes sense. So apologies for any background noise, there are gentlemen outside mowing the grass. I'm just checking which die I need to sit inside, so it shouldn't be on display in this area. So I've got the largest die here for the top and the smallest die for the bottom. So I want sort of a continuation of design. So I'm going to take my low tack tape and fix that in place. Do this as close to the edge as possible. So I want some of that black soot on display. I'm just going to tack that down like so, and then line up the next die to sit alongside it. I'm just going to go ahead and run that through my die cutter machine now. So I've gone ahead and cut those, and next I'm going to bring in my stamping platform. So I want to do a little further stamping on these panels. So I'm going to take the top one first of all, place that in my stamping platform, and I'm going to bring in some of the bats from the Spooky Fun stamp set. I've also got my stamped image here, so I'm just going to place that roughly where I think it will go, and then I'm just going to add some of the bats just around that, just to add some extra detail in the sky there. So I'm going to use VersaFine to stamp these. So as I said, I pre-blended my ink panel and I let that sit overnight. Sometimes when you're stamping directly onto the ink panel, you can lose a bit of the colour, so it can sort of come across quite grey. That's why I like to give it a little bit more time to dry, so you get these really clean, crisp images. So I just stamp those twice. Be really careful with that because I often put my fingers in the ink. So I'm just going to set that to one side and let that dry. And then bring in my second panel, and I've already die cut lots of the elements that I want to use. So I'm just going to place the grass panel there on top. I want to stamp some trees in the background. So using the same die set as the bat, so that the Spooky Fun, and I think I'm just going to have one just there. So pick that up and take that grass panel away. So I've just shifted my panel and I've added some second generation stamp in there, and just stamp another tree just there. There we go, I'm happy with that, so I'm going to set that to one side and let that dry as well. So while those panels are drying, I'm just going to attach some red liner tape along this 1/2 inch tab here, so in between these two score lines. So I like to add a combination of the red tape and wet glue for this section of the card, but it's entirely up to you. I think Sam just uses wet glue. So again, it's personal preference. So this piece attaches to there, and when we pull this out, this will flip open like so. So before I attach it, I want to add this panel here, so that it sits directly on the back of this panel, and you'll see this when it pops up. Hopefully that makes sense. So it'll pop up like so. I'm just going to attach those together with some Clal glue. So if you've got directional paper on this side, you want to be mindful of that. I'm just going to marry those edges up. Press those down. And then this panel will sit inside like so. So it'll pop up like this to reveal the spooky scene. So I'm going to decorate this panel while I'm waiting for that. So I'll bring in my pieces. So I've used the easy edges there to create this panel of grass, and I've trimmed it then to the same size as this panel. So I haven't glued the top. You can sort of curve the edges over there to give it a bit of extra definition, or dimension I should say. Just pop that on the bottom there, so line the edges up. See those trees peeking through on the background. I'm just going to curve that edge slightly for when I want to add my additional pieces behind to tuck those in. So hopefully you're seeing the effect on that. I'll just bring up the other one also. So I die cut this in grey cardstock, backed it with some black, and then I took some Distress Oxide inks. So I used Black Soot and Hickory Smoke. Sorry, just had to look behind me to check which one. And I just used a finger dauber and just dabbed it onto the cardstock just to give it that sort of concrete look, and I think it turned out really well. And I've also done the same here with the black cardstock and just used the grey ink on that one. So I think I'm going to attach those there like so. So I can't have anything sort of overhanging the edges, because that will be on display on the front of the card then. I've used the chunky alphabet dies to spell out the word boo. So I think I'm just going to have that sort of there, those stones there, and the witch then in the sky like so. I think that looks pretty cool. So I'm just going to go ahead now and attach those direct to my card using quick grab glue. So I'm using the edge of this panel to line up the die cuts. I'm just going to go in and tuck that one behind. So while I'm attaching these, I just wanted to mention on the CraftStash website you can subscribe to the newsletter. So if you do, then they'll send you alerts of any discounts that are going on, any special offers, exclusive content that's available in the VIP hub, and they have deals of the day, so you can find out that information also, and some of those are bargain prices. So if you're not signed up to the newsletter, head over to the website and subscribe to that. I'm going to remove the backing off the red liner tape, and I'm also going to add some quick grab glue. So make sure you've got this in the right orientation. And you want to center this on this panel here and line it up to the edge. Just going to test that. That flips open like so. I'm just going to open this back out and attach this piece on here like so. And now I'm going to attach the witch to the night sky. So the card will stand up like so, and then you slide this in and out. Sorry, slightly off shot there, to reveal that spooky scene. I think they look so cool. You can decorate the front now. So I've also die cut from the chunky alphabet dies to spell out trick or treat. I've got some pumpkins and bats here, so I might add some more pumpkins on the inside and a few then on the front. I'm just going to line these up and position them something like that. So I just lined the T and the K about 1 inch in from the edge, and I'm using the black matte layer there as a guide to add the letters. So we've got a nice straight edge, and then I'm going to stick the rest of the letters in between those two now. Just making sure that there's an equal gap between the letters and they're nice and spaced evenly. Then I'm going to do the same for the bottom word. So again, bring the two T's in by 1 inch from the edge, do the 3 letters in between, and then finish off with the O in the center. So as I said at the beginning of the video, all the products used apart from the paper pack has 20% discount, and if you're a VIP you'll obviously get your 10% extra. So if you're new to my channel or new to CraftStash, then it's a wonderful crafting website. It's got all the well-known brands as well as their co-brands, as they call them. So they're in-house brands such as Made to Surprise, Simply Made Crafts, Textures, to name but a few. So they've got a best price guarantee and 5-star reviews. So if you haven't checked out the website, then I'll pop a link just above so you can have a look at all of their wonderful products. So there's the final card. I have to say I'm really pleased with how it's turned out. Just off camera I've added some accent glaze. This is also from Made to Surprise, just to add a little bit of shine to the letters there on the front. And I've added the bats and the pumpkins to the front there, and the card just pops out like so. Moves really well, and then you've got that spooky scene inside. Just hold that up a little bit closer so you can see more of the detail there. I hope you've enjoyed the video. I've had so much fun with this card. Let me know what you think by hitting the like button, leaving a comment or subscribing to the channel. As always, the links will be listed in the description box below. Lastly, don't forget to head over to the CraftStash YouTube channel. If you subscribe, then you'll be in with a chance of winning a prize. Don't forget the next video in the hop. Once again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!